Hello, my name's Ben, and today we're going to learn how to improvise over a gypsy jazz classic called Minor Swing. Gypsy jazz is a great genre of music to get into if you're playing the violin, because it's jazz music for guitars and violin as opposed to trumpets and pianos. And it was created by gypsies in Paris, which I think is pretty cool. So Minor Swing is it has pretty basic chord structure throughout the whole thing. You'll see we've got an A minor chord, D minor, then an E7, and then back to A minor, and then the second line is almost the same thing: D minor, A minor, E7, A minor. And the thing that is difficult to do is, as you're improvising and soloing over these different chords, is knowing which notes you're allowed to play whilst a certain chord is happening. And so what you have to do to get better is to practice knowing the arpeggios and the scales related to each chord. And then, as the chords are changing, your fingers will know where they're allowed to go, which notes they're allowed to play, which notes you're not allowed to play. So if we get started straight away with the A minor 6 chord, which is the first chord of the song, the arpeggio to know starts with an A, and then a C, then an E, then a F sharp, and then you can repeat that on the higher octave. You've got A string, C is a low 2 on the A string, E is open string, F sharp is your first finger, and 3 is A. So this arpeggio on its own sounds like this. Now, as long as you're playing any of those notes whilst the A minor 6 chord is happening, you're going to sound great. And so the first thing we should do is we should practice playing just over an A minor 6 chord. So this is what we're going to try now. I'm going to just play the arpeggio regularly, and then I'm going to start messing around a little bit with the speed and the rhythm and the direction. But I'm only going to play notes from this first A minor 6 arpeggio. Here we go. So there you go. Now obviously you can slide a little bit, you can add some little extra notes, but the basic, most important thing to remember is that you know where these arpeggio notes are. And you might play some little passing notes. But you're focusing on the notes from the arpeggio. So the next chord is a D minor 6, and if you look at the middle fingerboard, we've got two notes on the G string, but I'm going to start on the D string here. So you've got D, and then a low 2, which is an F natural. Then you've got your A string, and then a B, and then D, and then a low 1 on the E string, which is F natural, and then your third finger on the E string. And if we go down, you'll see there's two other notes on the G string that we can also use. There's B and A. And so in total, it sounds like this. So, let's get used to what D minor 6 feels like with just going over the D minor chord and nothing else. There's D minor 6. And then the last chord in this song is E7. Now for E7, first E on the violin is your first finger on the D string. And then we got a G sharp, which is your high 3. B, first finger on the A string. D, third finger. Open E string. High 2 on the E string is G sharp. And your fourth finger is B. And if we go down, you can also play the D string, because that's the 7th note in the E7 scale. We've also got a B, second finger on the G string, and then a low 1 on the G string, which is G sharp. Now all those notes together make up this arpeggio. Now if you play all of those, any of those notes, whilst an E7 chord is happening, you're going to sound great. This is what it sounds like. Something like that. So that's what you should do at first, is figure out all the chords that you're going to be improvising over, and then just be sure that you know exactly where your fingers are allowed to go for each of those chords. Then you can start to put a couple of chords together. So for example, the next thing we should try and do is we should try and improvise over A minor and D minor. And we're not going to worry about E7 right now. We're just doing A minor, D minor, A minor, D minor, forever, until it becomes easy. This is our A minor and D minor mix. And again, so now I'm playing the notes from the A minor arpeggio when it's the A minor chord, and then when it switches to the D minor chord, my fingers are changing to the new notes that you can play over the D minor chord. So that's A minor and D minor together. Next up, we've got D minor and E7 together. So we're going to use the notes from D minor and the E7 notes. And again, I'll start slowly and I'll try and show you just as basic as possible how these notes fit, and then I'll make it a little bit more interesting afterwards. But this is D minor and E7 together. D minor and E7, and then finally the last couple of chords is E7 and A minor together. So we're going to use the E7 arpeggio and the A minor arpeggio. Sorry. Together, they sound like this. And now, after you've spent some time practicing just switching between two chords, you can try and put three chords together, or, I mean, at this point, you can probably just try going over the whole thing. So the whole chord progression goes A minor for 4 beats, then it switches to D minor for 4 beats, then we have E, and then back to A. And then the second line, we've got D, A, E, A. Each of these chords has 4 beats. So during those 4 beats, during that chord, any note from the arpeggio that comes from that chord is good to play. Now let's try the whole thing. you go. That's Minor Swing by Django Reinhardt. Check it out.